My screen is visible, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So hey guys, it's me Dev, and today I'll be taking you around the ideology, how you can build an offline first application, why it is required, and what are the challenges that you might face in your issues, right? So before starting that, I'll just give you a quick introduction. So I'm a full stack engineer. I currently work at Copious as the SD1, and I'm currently building their platforms like Vela.ai, which is a CRM, and the Flutter application that Sani talked about, Java things. Apart from it, I do create videos on YouTube on very niche topics such as like using NFC with Flutters, and kind of that. And you can find me on LinkedIn. I normally do a lot of trash talk over there, and if you are in my nearby place, you'll probably also find me in gym. So when many of us start our application development journey, right? So we tend to just ignore this aspect. So let's say when I started my journey as a Flutter developer, I used to just use internet connectivity plus package and just check if if user has internet or not. And probably if the user has no internet, I'll just show a screen saying no internet. Even many of developers do not even try to take care of it. They just kind of show a 404 or an API error, maybe in a toast or something like that, right? Many of us have done that in our previous applications, and if we are creating a small project, we do still follow it. So that was the thought how I came across offline first application. I'll also show application that I made using this architecture and how it went, right? So we'll talk about how offline first matters, right? So as Sani said, the internet connectivity is very unreliable, and users often drop your application just because you do not have offline support, or if they are not in a area where there is no network capacity. So user will just try to open your app. User will just see, oh, no internet connection found. What I'm supposed to do, right? So user might just even drop your application. Apart from it, it does hinder basically user experience, right? Like what I believe, app should remain fully functional even without the internet. So your user should not get disturbed in his or her experience, right? Apart from it, if your application does support offline first architecture, you have a definite of you will surely have increased user engagement and retention as users. For example, if I travel in a bus, right, on normal day-to-day basis, and there are certain routes where I don't have the network capacity, and if you have built a certain kind of application that helps user time pass, and without you taking care of the internet, probably they'll also stick to your application, and that is good. You will eventually make more money in long run. Apart from it, this is very essential for certain industries. For example, if I'm traveling and I just have ticket on my application that I bought from, right, and I have no internet supposedly in that area, or my data pack is exhausted. So if I'm not able to check my tickets or my healthcare reports, then that would be a huge issue, right? So people will face like many issues regarding that. And we normally tend to use applications like Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, which provide offline functionality very seamlessly. So they just do it out of so much flow that even user will not able to understand what they are doing in the backend, right? So I'll probably just give a rationale how the whole architecture works behind it. So in our normal applications, we just have some API routes, or even if you are using Firebase or Supabase, we'll just use their packages, and we'll just make our API call, right, just to cloud, and we'll probably just sync it back, display it in our UI, and that works, no issues. But when introducing offline first application, you have to also manage a local database or local storage. That is a new entity, entirely, and you will have to probably sync all of the local database and your remote database in a manner that there should be no data loss, right? So let's just talk and chat for a while. So what do you think, if you are building an offline first application, what are the challenges that you might face? Come on, quickly. Will so anyone, suppose if you are building an offline first application, what are the issues that okay, first thinker issue that you might face? Storage,
Yes,
great.
Dev.
Making
I-
app persistent without, yeah, cool,
the major
cool.
issue will be handling local data with
Yeah.
solving major conflicts.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So probably we'll, on the first basis principle, we'll just figure out what are the challenges that a developer can face. So as many of us pointed out, Harsh and even Nahan, so there can be data inconsistency issues. So for example, let's take an example of Instagram application. When I am offline, I'm just creating a post, then I'm again editing the post, again making few changes in the post, and then I tend to delete the post even when before my network connectivity goes on, right? So there were changes occurred, but this were not reflected in your main database or your uh, data storage center that we are using, right? So there can be similarly many kind of issues. You need to work on the conflicts that could be have been created. So for example, my remote database is having some other data apart, whereas my local database is on another level. So you need to probably think about the complex sync mechanisms that you will be need to handle, right? And and it should be taken care of with preventing data loss or data duplication, because again that will lead to a bad user experience in long run. You will not like it if you open your Instagram and you just see you have five photos of you, like on your feed you have five similar kind of photos. You will not like it, right? Same if you have posted a photo, you will probably, if you will open your profile and you will not find the date photo, you will not like it. It will handle, like, interfere. Okay, Harsh is saying we can't call API in an offline application. Yeah, that's true, Harsh. We'll probably go more in depth. Then there are storage constraint issues. Many of us, many devices do not allow us to, make heavy changes on our local storage when we are using databases like SQL or Hive. In long run, it will hinder your app performance also. So, also a fun fact. Recently, I came across. It's out of the topic. I was scheduling some notifications, and I later came to know even some of the phone brands do not allow that. So, in longer run, they'll probably cut or shut your notification services. So, if you are working on notifications, you will probably need to take care of that. Let's get back to the topic. So, we'll also need to handle a lot of data, since you are also handling massive data, because like you'll need to sync the data between your local database and remote database, which is crucial, right? So, for an example, okay, we'll just probably go later with an example, and there can be privacy and security concerns when you are storing data locally. That increases security risk, and many of the, like, providers, Google Play and App Store, uh, give a notice like don't share sensitive information on your application's local database. So we'll probably go with a pictorial diagram. We'll see how it works behind the scenes. So, for example, if you are making a request, it will probably hit first to the local storage. If the data doesn't exist, it will again hit to your main API or main database. It will gather the response and save it in your cache, and then probably it will be received on your device. So this is how whole rational and how things work things work behind the logic. So probably just give me a second. Yeah. So what are the core principles when you are designing an offline first architecture? So you should obviously like prefer to handle or maybe do read writes in your local storage first. So you will need to decide a point where you will be making all the writes and reads, right? So probably most of the developers prefer reading obviously from local storage before syncing, and post that we can use some syncing techniques that are popular. So effective synchronization is required. So for example, if I am making a change in a sixth row, right? So when my network is back, instead of sharing the whole database, dumping the whole database of my main server and copying it again, I'll just need to fire that particular update query or delete query, whatever the query it was, on my database. So it will be an efficient synchronization. There will be not a lot of database drops and everything, right? Then there could be conflicts that obviously depends upon the type of that rules you set up. For example, I have set up a rule that you cannot make certain changes when you are offline. So, for example, you cannot delete a post when you are offline. So, some kind of conflict resolution strategies you need to implement it. It will hinder your app's performance in long run, right? Then optimistic UI updates. So mostly we when we are reloading our application using the pull to refresh methods, right? You will probably see data sync successfully, some kind of toast like that. So that's behind the scenes that your local database and your remote data applications remote database are synced in and they are together. Apart from it, you will need to check the network status awareness. Again, if you are writing some certain rules that you will not allow some certain features when you are offline. So there are techniques that people follow, and there are the custom rules that they follow in order to implement all this kind of things. Okay. Yeah. Then probably we'll come to choosing the right tools for offline first applications. So there are many, yeah, Hamish will get back to it. So there are many tools that you need to figure out, right? So what kind of local database you'll use. So there are many options such as SQLite, Hive, and there is a one called ISAR, which is again used for NoSQL kind of databases. Then there are probably platforms like Supabase, Firebase, which some of the platforms which support like offline burst from the package itself. For example, Firebase supports it, right? Then you will need to coordinate your all of the things with your state management, whatever it can be, like provider, river pod, block. Then if you are handling all of this manually, then you will need to make API queuing requests using your background workers. So you will need to make sure that you are storing every of the changes as a query or some kind of thing, and then probably you will update in your main database when it comes live. Then there are security measures that you need to increment, like while storing data and processing data, you will need to restrict unauthorized access, some kind of things, right? So how does Brick help in all of this? So first of all, I'll probably just introduce you all to Brick. So as Hamish pointed out, there are a lot of changes that one needs to take care of while working with this kinds of features or building this kind of features. So Brick out of the box supports all of these features. You can just search a package Brick on pub.dev, you'll get it. Just go to the documentation. It will probably explain each and everything, how the repository patterns are working. And interestingly, this brick uses SQLite under the hood, and there are a lot of things that I have not talked about, such things like migrations and policies that you will be needing. So, for example, if you change your data model, then in you will need to reflect same kind of changes in your local storage as well, right? So you will need to alter that particular tables also in order to store your data properly. So Brick does everything under the hood. You will probably just need to fire some of the commands that they have given, and you will be good to go. What does Brick support? So Brick supports like offline first functionality with Supabase. You can also use your custom GraphQL. You can use your REST APIs, and it will help you out, right? So this works on the same logic that I have been talking about, like syncing your database. Then will also will lead to be some set some kind of rules of retrying when internet is alive. For example, if your network is back again and you are trying to make some changes, but that did not go well, so you will need to check or make a certain queue kind of thing that will keep on pushing until we have reached our goal successfully, right? So Brick supports all of this out of the box. That is a great thing. So what is Brick? Flutter ORM designed for offline persistence and synchronization. So Brick follows a repository pattern to manage offline first data storage, right? Or there are alternatives to Brick. You can use PowerSync, Watermelon, DB, and offline first capacities, and obviously you can write your own logic with using SQLite. Again, that depends upon you and your use case. So if you are handling everything by yourself, you will need to choose the right format. How you will be storing data? You will be storing data in JSON, SQLite, no SQLite, or key value pairs using Hive or shared preferences, right? Then the main and the key issue, you also need to control data reads and write for excessive disk performances, right? Then you will need to handle data expiry. You will need to store the fresh data with an efficient manner using instead of using like again and again pulling data to your storage, right? Then as I talked about dealing with schema changes, so without breaking the application, so there are a lot of model changes, data model changes that we go through in our application, which are crucial. So we'll need to make sure that it's same on the offline first, because the same kind of pattern will be used. Then there are many things like performance optimization, efficient data caching, lazy loading techniques, handling our battery and CPU optimization that comes in longer run probably, and you'll also need to handle errors gracefully and properly. So I'll just quickly show that application that I recently built. Uh, okay, I hope just change the screen. So you can probably see the device. It's a habit tracking application, and the whole rationale behind using offline first was there can be many habit ticks in a single day. So the number of habit increases, the number of completions increases. I'll need to make a lot of API calls that, and the sync would be required. And I have used Supabase for the backend, they probably have some restrictions or making some certain kind of request at a particular day. So what I did is I have been managing everything offline first. So all the data that you can see is real time in sync with Supabase. If my network connectivity goes off, the application will still work as the same. There will be no hindrance, and user will even the user will not be able to know if the data is getting fetched from an offline source or online source. And that's the whole thing, right? You'll need to take care of that. The transition should be smooth. Yeah. So it's a habit tracker application. I'll probably just go through it. So you need to fill all kinds of detail. What is your habit description, day, completion goals, categories, and the number of weeks that you want and the timing. So this is again so seamless. You will not be able to understand what are the data source behind. So I am using it with Brick. Brick under the hood uses SQLite and manages all the things like retrying methods and every performance issues that you can even think and face off. So they probably have a good documentation, and the community is also very active. So probably you can just raise a issue on the GitHub and they probably help you out. I had similar kinds of issues that I was facing and they did help me. So I'm grateful for them. Apart from it, if you still insist on going like on your own, there are certain limitations of the packages. So you will need to handle some of the common pitfalls, and you will need to avoid them, like insufficient sync methods, conflict resolution. You will probably need to fix all of this. You will need to uh, understand all of this, and if you are using an ORM, it will probably just make your work easy, right? Apart from it, I have gathered few resources link. I'll probably share this PDF in the Flutter and double WhatsApp group. You can just scan it and just go. There are some links to some Medium articles or some documentations that will make your understanding clear in longer run. So if you want to build an offline first application, these are the probably few resources that you will need to go through. And post that, I can assure you guys that you will be able to build your first offline first application with ease. So yeah, let's connect on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter. I probably put some YouTube videos in a while if I think I get an interesting topic. Nice application. Can you show the code behind? So I'll just probably go through it fast because I guess we have some time constraint. I'll probably share my screen and just make it short. Wait, wait. So here is the architecture. So I normally prefer stack architecture. Again, that comes with view model kind of architecture. It's easy to use. It creates view and view models. You will need to use services. So this is the kind of architecture that I've been following. Uh, so again, in order to create your brick application, like using brick, you will need to make your models with some annotations like connect offline first with Supabase, and you need to probably go through your table names. And as I have said, this is again using under the hood a SQLite, so you probably need to take care of all of these things. Then just by one command, it will generate all the adapter schema models, and it will also figure out the migrations. So these are some migration files that I should not touch probably. And then I've been using some of the local storage like shared preferences at some point in order to basically make my life easier. Then I have some repositories which again queries to the repository of the brick that brick gives me out of the box. And then I have been doing some data processing. And yeah, that's it. If you want, can you yeah, sure, I will share the QR link. So this is the kind of architecture that I have been following these days. Do let me know what kind of architecture you guys follow. And it probably the application does include some sick animations. So if you can see, so recently I've also been exploring this kinds of animation, which you know helps user. I guess that's it.